Yo guys, welcome back to another PSGL video on the channel. Today we are here in Montreal, here in Canada, for round number 5. Yeah, 5. It's round number 5. We're currently sat P11 in the standings after only finishing 2 of the races. And in the last race round in Austria, we got an unfair penalty, which put us in P7 to finish the race, which, after being in P2, crossing the line in P2, it's just annoying because the 5-second penalty, I don't think it should have stood. But it's just PSGL stewarding back at it again, so what can you expect? But if you want to go see what happened in that video at the end of that race, because it was a very interesting race. It doesn't have as many views as I think not as I think it should, but just for the excitement of the race, the quality of the race, it's a shame not too many people have seen that. But anyway, going into our first qualifying run of the day. I was going to say of Q1, but we only do short qualifying. You might be wondering why you're seeing the first lap of qualifying rather than the last lap, because I usually do the last lap instead of the earlier laps. But that's just because this is my best lap. I've invalidated both of the other runs, so this is the best one that we're going to get in the qualifying session. But we're just chucking in, we're going pushing as hard as we can, even though it is a banker at this time. We obviously want to be full sending it to see where our pace is actually at. We get it nicely drifted through the hairpin, and now we're on to the long back straight, where we're coming up to the chicane where you can lose the lap instantly, because it's just such an easy corner to invalidate on. But luckily we managed to get it about perfect, I'd say, for at least the level I'm at. It's about perfect. We cross the line, and we got a provisional pole, which I'm very happy about, considering most people have crossed the line at this point. It's good, and we invalidated our middle lap, but we're going to see what happens on our final lap. P4 right now, and we just get way too much loose end, whatever, we just lose the back end. The lap's gone, 3/10 down, no point. Continuing, I believe I did push on.
I was never going to get anything back in that, so.
But our banker lap, which was provisional pole, ends up leaving us P6 going into the race. Only 2/10 off pole.
Oh, it's
so
too close at the front.
I reckon if I got that lap in, I could have been P4. Maybe even, well, probably P5, but maybe even P4. You see, we've selected the medium strategy, but at the last minute, we are going to make a switcheroo just to bait off anyone that's watching on the race director, just to make sure no one is, just to maybe throw someone off. I don't know. Anyway, 5 red lights, and away we go. We were not held for very long, but up ahead, an AI car is actually boxing us in. We try and move to the inside. We're nearly going 3 wide. Scorenzi and the Aston Martin behind us, pushing us through there. We're losing the back end. We cannot find the grip, but we do manage to get past Kiwi, who was AI for some reason. I think he disconnected. But those first few corners have put us on the back foot for the DRS train. And we are going to have to use ERS to close in and have a safer gap to the cars in front, and hopefully hold on to the position we have in P5. Because even though we did end up getting a slower start, we got boxed in, it was a bit more sketchy than we wanted, we did ultimately gain a position. But first lap nerves have already creeped in, and we pick up a very easy track limits. And that's just a warning for us. So 2 more of those, and we will get 3 seconds. But I'm not too sure what's going to happen in this race in terms of track limits, because in other league races I've done in Canada, the track limits have been crazy. Nearly everyone on the grid has had a 3-second penalty or more. So if we manage to keep it clean and don't pick up a 3-second penalty, we might be on for a very good result, as long as we don't put it in the wall. Crack, our teammate, the same guy who ended up giving us the penalty in Austria,
That AI car
has just
at the start was
crashed
so
out.
bad.
And this isn't good for our constructors. I fully understand at this point, we're not fighting for the for the championship, but we still want to be trying to score some points, but he just keeps retiring. He keeps having poor results, and it's getting a little bit frustrating. End of lap 4, start of lap 5, the safety car is now in, and we are back under green flag conditions. Up ahead, DA looking to make a move on the Aston, but he decides not to do one into turn 1 because it is not an ideal overtaking opportunity. But right now, we're just going to need to try and stick with the cars ahead and not get track limits, as you saw me correct my wheel just then. Taking it very carefully, but just ultimately, we really want to hang on to the DRS of the train ahead. Else our race is pretty much over. So we really don't want that to happen. We're going to use ERS if we have to, just to make sure we stay in. But if we have a bit of oversteer, a bit of understeer, it could be the difference between a 3-second penalty and the podium. Like, it's drastic, it's different. Like, it's such a big, I don't know, it's just basically, it's good or bad. It can go good or bad just by one mistake. But you'll see from my amazing transition, we go from lap 5 to lap 8, because not much has happened. We have managed to nicely sit in DRS, not been under threat, but the Ferrari in front of us has an awful chicane, so we are going to use ERS, move to the outside, brake a bit later, decide to back out, maybe go for a switcheroo into turn 2. He runs a little bit deep. We're going to try and get better traction out turn 2. We do, but there's no point going for a stupid send into turn 3 and 4 because you'll lose time. We will lose DRS, but you can see in the top left that the Ferrari has already picked up a 3-second penalty, which is what I was saying earlier about the penalties being in abundance. Like, it's so easy to get penalties on this track. Start of lap 10 now. Getting a poor exit out the final corner. We're going to be under a bit of pressure from Skrenti, but up ahead the Ferrari goes for a late move on the Aston, and we're going to try and hang around the outside and capitalise on the Aston Martin, and we get put in the wall.
No way. I can't do this.
I get
Seriously?
a massive snap of oversteer.
Bro, this physics model's so bad.
And I've taken out the Aston Martin.
Bro.
My
what is
luck
that
this
physics, man?
season is
I lose the
truly
back end and it
incredible.
just takes him.
I'm annoyed about the physics model. You hear me moaning. I don't understand how we actually managed to, like, spin him there, because yeah, I lost the back end, but I really don't think his car should have just came with me like that. But luckily there was a full safety car, so we are now on the back foot. We have been put on a strategy we don't want to be on. The ideal strategy would have been to go on to hards again, but unfortunately we only had one set, so it didn't really matter in the end.
Go at the end and win.
But we're P9 now. After we lost our front wing, we get it changed. And luckily, I'll spoil it now, at the end of the race, the Aston Martin decided not to report me because he understands it wasn't, like, purposeful, it was just a mistake. Which I respect from him, I really appreciate that. But instantly off the safety car restart, we're looking to make a move on Jamie, teammate from last season, and he decides to let us go. Unfortunately, we couldn't be teammates in this season. But it's fine, we're still on good terms. Unfortunately, he also dropped back to the McLaren, so he couldn't hold up Kiwi. Speaking of Kiwi, he's just picked up a 3-second penalty, which is... I was going to say... I don't know what the word is. I'm not fit for this right now. The commentary, it's not here. I can't even remember what I was on about, it's just... ignore it. Moving on to lap 14, nothing happens, but Morenvi and the Mercedes are going side by side, but then the Mercedes gets the move done before the chicane. We're going to try and get a better exit, as the Mercedes picks up a 3-second penalty as well. But we're going to be using all of our ERS. We're going to be going late for a move on the inside. We're going to send up the inside into turn 1, and the move is complete before turn 2. Crucial decision making from myself to go for that move. I was debating it a little bit, but I just decided I'm on a recovery mission. What's the point? I'm just going to send it. And I sent it, making the move, and nicely up into P7, which is like 2, maybe 3 positions under where we were. when I had the incident with the Aston. But we are going to need to try and stay in DRS range of the Mercedes now. We're going to be using our ERS, and we actually pick up a penalty. I forgot where the second warning was. We didn't see that on the recording. But unfortunately, we are now on the same terms as quite a few of the people around us with a 3-second penalty. And this is what I mean, that could be the difference. Simply because other people are probably going to get penalties up ahead. So we need to be able to get them. We go for a move, we make the move before the chicane into turns 13 and 14. We've got that searched up now. So I'm going to be professional. But we do make the move, we're up into P6 now. And we're going to need to lock in because the train ahead is 2 seconds ahead. Which obviously we're not going to get DRS until we're at least within a second. So moving on to lap 17, we are only falling back on the Delta. We decide to let the Mercedes through because he's just faster in the straight line. We're going to try and play the team game here to steal these positions or to even catch up to the train ahead, who are now about 2.7 away from the Mercedes, which is about where they were by the time he overtook me. But we do manage, he does get the move done, and we are just going to need to lock in. On to lap 18 now, same thing as lap 16 and 17. Just making the move before the chicane, be able to get a nice line in the chicane, and then a nice exit. And we gain time through that, because we managed to gain from 2.7 seconds to 2.3 seconds to the Aston Martin of Scorenzi. So this strategy is given little signs that it might work. Seeing as we do have to box again, slightly frustrating. The game wants us to box on lap 21. We're going to stay out a bit longer as the Mercedes actually dives into the box. And right now, Kiwi is looking to make an attack. We decide to fully lift off and let him go. It's a bit boring for the viewing, but it does work better for our race. And considering he's on a 3 seconds, we will be looking to try and finish ahead of him come the end of the race. So nothing is happening. But we decide to make a move into the chicane on lap 23 because Kiwi has decided to box pretty early, in my opinion. A lot of the people around us have boxed. You'll see by the Delta, the next closest car is 8 seconds behind, and the next closest ahead is 3.4. And everyone around us, I'm thinking at the time, is boxing really early. But to try and cover it off, I'm having to box now. I would have liked to go maybe 3 more laps to box onto the softs and go to the end. But I don't feel comfortable boxing now onto the softs, so we have put on the medium compound. And we're going to come out with Kiwi pretty close. We are going to be racing them on the exit, going a little bit wide on the exit, but we actually did come out ahead of Kiwi. And if you look at the penalties now, 3 seconds, 8 seconds, 3 seconds, 6 seconds. Even with just staying on 3-second penalties, I might be able to gain some positions at the end of the race. Purely because people are getting so many warnings that 3 seconds is enough to still gain, because people will get 6. Moreni sped in the pits, he got 8. Like, it's still possible for us to get something out of this race. And I don't know if you saw, but when we were in the box, Joe Royal in the other McLaren further ahead in the lead pack boxed to the softs. On the same lap, I boxed for the mediums. And just from the nature of tyre wear on this track, I'm really not confident that that would have been my best decision. Up ahead now, you see on the Delta that Jamie is still on the hards. He is deciding to go to the end, it seems, because he is pretty slow right now. Someone boxes, yeah, it's Jamie actually, he does box. He was on the hards, he was looking to go to the end, but he doesn't, just simply because the tyre wear isn't that bad. And I did want to box to the hards to try and go to the end. But maybe it's just because of his pace that he just can't get it done, which is unfortunate for him. Massive moment by Kiwi, who just basically gives us back a free position. And you'll see now on the Delta in the top left, 3 seconds, 8 seconds, 3 seconds, 6 seconds, 3 seconds. Every single person is getting time penalties, and it's pretty funny. Maybe it's just the level we're at in terms of skill. But everyone's getting penalties. It's just, that just goes to show that this track is not easy for track limits at all. Anyway, we did let Kiwi pass going into turns 13 and 14. But we were going to look for a move, didn't get close enough. We don't want to be using too much ERS, so we decide to sit behind. Going from lap 27 now to the end of lap 27, getting pretty close to Kiwi at this point. We're going to need to look for a better exit out of the chicane, but we get the line wrong. But we're deciding we're going to be using our ERS along with the DRS. We're getting really close. He hits us, he leaves us no space. We run onto the grass, but we still manage to make it. We still manage to make the move stick, which is crucial. Kind of getting the elbows out and barging our way through. But I thought Kiwi was going to leave us a bit more space there. I thought he knew that I was going to be going for a move. But it's fine in the end. At the end of the day, we got the move done. It's okay. On to lap 29 now, 6 laps to go. We are on the back of Linus. Not going to go for a move into here, even though I would really like to. It really just isn't worth it to go for a move just yet because we'll lose more time than we already are. Up in... I can't even know what turns these are. The map's upside down. Don't know what turns these are. Getting very close, up and personal, with the back of his car. But we do make the move up into P8. And if we're lucky, considering we have got the freshest tyres out of the 2 cars ahead of us, it's looking like the maximum might be P6 today. We cut on to lap 33, where we've just been reeling in the time. And we're now looking and pressuring Guillotin in the Haas. Not in the Haas, in the Mercedes. And we're instantly going to make a move. Lap 33. Still 2 laps left to go in this race. We're going to try and not use much ERS. But Morini moved over to give him slipstream, so we had to use a bit. But into the chicane. Going on to the final 2 laps. We're pretty close to Morini. We're going to actually go for a move. We've got so much more top speed. And up into turn 1, the move is done. And we are up into P6, which is about where we were when we had the wing and caused the safety car and we had the issues. But it's all good. I'm going to take a drink for a minute because the last lap we got to commentate. You know, the voice is getting dry. But you'll see on the leaderboards up in the top left, we are actually under pressure. I'll focus on this for a minute. Under pressure from the AlphaTauri. Managed to hold him off into turns 1 and 2. We got a little bit deep into turn 2, but we do have the extra grip, so we've made that move stick. But, as I was saying, in the top left, 9 seconds penalties for the Ferrari. If we finish within 6 seconds of him, we will gain a position. We are 2.4 seconds off of that right now, but if he makes a mistake, we will capitalise. So we just need to pray at this point that we can get it done, because even if the car behind us overtakes us on this last straight, it doesn't matter because we have lesser penalties, so we will be guaranteed P6 in this race. But we just hope that in the final chicane the Ferrari can make a mistake and we will get a P5, which it's not looking likely, I will say. We are going to use all of our ERS though, and through the last chicane the Ferrari does not make a mistake. He loses a bit of time, but not enough. And Morini gets close behind us, but we do have more speed, the fresh tyres, and we manage to hold off. It's going to be a little mini drag race to the line. We do manage to come out on top in that drag race, even though we would have finished ahead of him. But I'm not very happy with that race, simply because...
3 seconds, I get P5.
Yeah, I would have got P5 if I didn't have the 3-second penalties, and I don't think I actually picked up any other warnings, which is annoying. It is what it is at this point. But P6, it's the highest finish this season, but it's still so far from when I want to be. I want to be up in the top 3 every race, maybe even top 5 consistently every race.
I've been on go again next week for the last 5
And I've
weeks.
not been pulling it off. I've not had a good season. It's been pretty downhill. It's gone downhill from last season. Went from fighting in...
I guess we do just go
fighting
again
for
next
championships
week, but I've been saying
in
that for the
F10
last 5 weeks.
to now struggling to
But
like
look
get
at
in the
the
top
penalties.
train. But yeah, I mean, if you enjoyed the race and the video as a whole with the lackluster commentary, then I would employ that you like and subscribe, and then I will see you in the next one, which is at France. So yeah, look forward to that. See ya.